Welcome back, folks. Another edition of Rob's Reacts TV. How many stupid people do we have out there? I think everybody out there is freaking intelligent. At least if you're watching my channel, you're smart. But the biggest thing is CNN even put this out there. Like 80% of America want voter ID. In this episode, we're going to go over a bunch of different things about voter ID. I mean, if you're not for voter ID, why not? Put it down in the comments down below. Like, what? If you don't want voter ID, then what do you want? I don't understand why. The only reason you don't want voter ID is if you want to cheat in the election, right? I mean, that's just my opinion. Then let's just say what's on everybody's chest is they want to cheat. And if you don't think that the 2020 election was rigged and stolen, you haven't been paying attention. So let's just start here. This is President Trump today at the National Prayer meeting, breakfast this morning. Just pay attention to some of the things he says. He's bringing God back into the society. Sorry.
I don't know how a person of faith can vote for a Democrat. I really don't. And I know we have some here today, and I don't know why they're here, because they certainly don't give us their vote. I certainly know that we're not going to be convincing them to vote for a little thing called voter ID. It polls at 97%.
97.
And even the Democrat, the people, the voters, are at 82% for voter ID, but the leaders don't want to approve it. They said they will strike. They will not allow it to happen. It's polling at over 90%. It's called voter identification. When you go to the polls,
if you don't want voter ID, put it down in the comments down there and say, hey, I don't want voter ID. Just let me know why. I'm just curious.
show of, yes, my name is so-and-so, and I live in the country. I'm here. I can vote. They say, that's not allowed. And no, everyone's trying to figure it out. And they do something to win. You know what it is? They cheat. But let's get on to another subject. No, at that, they're the finest, probably anywhere in the world, I would say. But we're trying to pass voter ID and other things having to do with your religion. And getting the Democrats to vote is very, very tough. But we're
And why do you think it's very, very tough about the Democrats to vote, want voter ID? I mean, I've heard things today about, they're talking about, and you're going to hear some questions, and it just blows my mind, the questions that they asked Caroline Leavitt, and then we're going to go to that here in just a short bit, but it's just crazy. They're trying to pass the SAVE Act, and it's not going very well for the Republicans. The Democrats are not on board.
I guess they're just going with, black people and married women are too dumb to get voter ID, and Republicans are racist.
No, they want fraud. No, Andrew, you're being too nice. The Democrats know they can't win with their policies. They want fraud to win.
I love it when you tell me I'm being too nice. This is great. Yes, continue. I totally agree.
Yeah.
The only explanation is they want to cheat. That's the only thing that's it.
That's the only explanation.
By the way, kill the zombie filibuster and make them go on the floor and
That's
actually
right.
defend the indefensible. Make them
I'm
do
all
it.
for the zombie filibuster.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and let's look. They want to defund ICE. Okay, they don't care about the American public.
I guess they're just going with, black people.
It's the craziest thing ever, and it's just Senator Rick Scott is done just playing games with the Senate passing the SAVE Act. So the Democrats know they can't win with their own policies. They have no policies. They want fraud to win. That's exactly what he was saying here. So just hang in there on that. And then I thought there was a couple things on that one that I wanted to show you. And this is a lady here stopping Ted Cruz down the aisle for the SAVE Act.
Senator Cruz, how confident are you that we can get the SAVE Act to the floor for a vote? Do you think it's actually going to happen, or is this an empty promise?
Look, I very much hope so. I can tell you I am urging my colleagues to end the zombie filibuster and to force the Democrats to do an old-fashioned talking filibuster. And we have procedural tools that can make it far more painful for the Democrats to continue defending and facilitating voter fraud. And that's the case I'm trying to make to my colleagues.
Well, we appreciate that. Why do you think it's so hard to end this zombie filibuster? And it seems like Thune isn't really in favor of it from what he said yesterday.
Look, I will say that the conference is discussing it actively. And look, I hope we come to agreement. We need to get 51 Republicans to stand together. The only way to force the Democrats to do the talking filibuster is stand united.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. Senator Cruz.
And you know the funny thing about that is that they do need 51 Republicans to do this. Just like anything else, Donald Trump knows ways to force these people into doing it. And what we were told a long time ago was like 80 to 85% of Congress will go away from all the corruption. I'm talking going away. And if you notice, I don't have the statistics, but I know that there's a lot. I mean, I'm talking 30 to 50 people that are not going to be congressmen next year because they're quitting, and I'm not sure exactly why. I can only imagine why. Like I said, 80% of Congress will be gone next year. They'll be replaced, and hopefully it's more Donald Trump leaning. Crazy Epstein stuff, but we won't talk that. That's another day. Another day. And here is Chip Roy. Yeah, Chip Roy. He's out there fighting for us too as well. He's just saying Speaker Mike Johnson just put the Save America Act on the schedule for the floor to vote next week. Save America Act will require voter IDs, proof of citizenship in elections. Time to get loud. MAGA. If you don't know what MAGA means, it's Make America Great Again. Who in the heck does not want to make America great again? Who? I know some people that probably don't, or they probably do, but they don't support MAGA, whatever MAGA is. Patriots like myself and a lot of other people are country first. I don't want to see illegal aliens voting in our election. What do you guys think about that? I mean, I don't know of one, but if you're out there watching my videos, put it down there. Let me know why you don't want voter IDs, because you're gonna find out they're stressing about having ICE agents at the polling box. What does it matter?
Where next week we are going to move, thanks to the leadership of the Speaker and Leader Scalise, we're going to move H.R. 7296, the Save America Act, legislation that I filed over here in the House and that my friend Mike Lee filed in the Senate. This is common sense legislation. It will require citizenship to register to vote, and it will require voter ID at the polls. This is an issue that polls at something like 80%, regardless of your race, regardless of your background. This is right. Common sense stuff that we think we should move. The SAVE Act, by the way, has passed on a bipartisan basis twice off of the House floor. The problem is Chuck Schumer and the Democrats have been blocking it. So now we're calling on Leader Thune to change this and to force what we call a talking filibuster so that we can force a vote on the Senate floor. We think we can. I'm over in the Capitol Dome room. Across the other side of the dome is the Senate. When we pass this in the House, let's make the Senate do their job and pass the Save America Act. God bless America.
That's exactly right. They need to pass it. They need to pass it. We need to have voter IDs. We need proof of citizenship. Let's have safe, fair elections. Who does not want to do that? That's just common sense. If you're in a blue state or in a red state, call your congressman. We need to stand up. And if you're having midterm elections, you guys need to stand up and get to your polling. I don't care what temperature it is. We failed our country. We failed our kids. We failed our grandkids. We need to stand up. We need to get out and do something. I had some back surgery, and I've been watching this forever. After my last video, or not last video, but when I stopped for like 5 or 6 months, I just said to myself, I need to get my butt back on the frickin' on TV, on the web here, because some people out there need to know that there's crazy things going on out there. And my next video is going to be about the Epstein files. And yes, we're probably getting sick and tired of the Epstein files, but that's what they want you to believe. You need to know what is going on in the Epstein files. If you're a left-leaning person and some right, you think just because Epstein file came out, and there's more to it. Everything has a reason. Everything has purpose. Everything has meaning. Everything. And if I were you, I would get into the Epstein files and dig into it and see what you find. Because, and again, just because you're pictured with Epstein doesn't mean that you're implemented in that act. All right? I want to make that clear. I don't believe that one bit. But it just seems a little weird that some people are acting really strange lately. Really strange. John Solomon came out the other day, and this was MJ Ultra, or Truth Ultra said this. I'm going to go underneath because he swore right there, but he says, okay, well, anyway, let him say it right here.
I believe that the President of the United States is soon going to be briefed by Tulsi Gabbard and other intelligence officials, based on my reporting, about additional intrusions, significant, large-scale intrusions into various forms of our election system. Now, I'm not talking about getting a machine and flipping the vote, but maybe getting enough of state voter databases that a foreign power could work with people on the ground in the United States to fill out fake registrations for people who are on dirty voter rolls. Those licenses that were sent into Chicago were going to be used to make absentee ballot applications, according to the FBI predicate. By the way, Chris Wray's FBI didn't look at that. They shut it down. If a foreign power was that far into the election databases of state systems that they could figure out what driver's licenses to send here, the next question becomes, who were they working with on the ground? Who was going to file those ballot requests? I think that's why Tulsi Gabbard was down in Georgia, why you might see her in Arizona, why the FBI will probably be in Arizona.
You know, another reason why I think Tulsi Gabbard was down there is because it has to do with like other countries that are involved in stealing our elections. Well, you think just going down to not Cuba, but Venezuela was just to get the president and his wife? Nobody got shot, nobody got killed, and we just swooped him right off his feet. No marks on it. There's a lot of crazy things going on in this world, and you just got to start putting two and two together. It's just crazy. It's a lot of crazy stuff. The voting Smartmatic and all that stuff was Venezuela driven, and it's just crazy. There's a lot more to it. We need voter ID.
And why the president's about to get a briefing. And all of this new information could have a profound effect on the Save America Act, which is, all right, some people say it feels like we're doing an awful lot. There's not a real problem. These next revelations, if the president were to declassify them after he gets debriefed on them in the next few days, they could educate senators and House members and give them a greater inspiration to maybe go ahead and do the voter ID and the citizenship check. That is a big moment. Tulsi Gabbard and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi are driving this. It's been below the radar, but they're doing some really big stuff. Now the president's going to find out what it is, and then at that point, the opportunity comes to declassify it. Let's see what it is. There's one other element to this. If government officials lied to us after the 2020 election, there's still an opportunity in some of those cases to pursue criminal cases against them. We'll see where it all comes out. But that's what's going on in the background of the Save America Act debate right now.
Yes, and again, if you have congressmen that is not going along with the Save America Act, you need to get on the phone. You need to call them. You need to get on the websites and let's hound these people. We need to get on board. I know here in Michigan where I'm at, our senators, they suck. They suck. They're criminals. They're all criminals. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. That's the crypto. I was watching the crypto market today, and boy, I was buying the dip. That's all I was doing is buying the dip, and boy, my wife wasn't happy, but man, I got more XRP. Yeah, woo, that's what I got. But that's not financial advice. All right, here we go. Here's some of the questioning that I couldn't understand.
Thank you for your comments and your prayers for the Guthrie family. I have two questions related to the president's interview with NBC yesterday.
Sure.
At one point in the interview, the president said that he believes states are accumulating the votes for who wins the election. He says if they, meaning the states, can't do it honestly and can't be done properly and timely, then something else has to happen. What did he mean by that? Is he suggesting that the federal government count votes in elections?
What the president is suggesting, and I just spoke to him about this, is that Republicans and Democrats in Congress should pass the Save America Act. This piece of legislation is going to ensure that states are abiding by federal election law by removing non-citizens from their voter rolls. In addition, the Save America Act will require voter ID to vote, and it will require proof of citizenship to register to vote. These are very common sense policies and proposals that 89% of our country agree with. So that's what the president is talking about. Again, I just spoke with him about this, and he's calling on both Republicans and Democrats to send the Save America Act, to pass it into law and to send it to his desk as quickly as possible.
To be clear, the SAVE Act doesn't say anything about who counts votes, which has always been a state, a local, a county function. Why does he keep talking about somebody else, presumably the federal government, counting votes?
Because the SAVE Act directs states to remove non-citizens from their voter rolls. And we know in states across the country, the president is right to point this out. In states like California or in places like New York City, non-citizens are allowed to vote in state and local elections. And the federal government should absolutely do away with that. I don't think a single person in this room, if you really are being honest with yourselves, should agree that non-citizens should vote in American elections, no matter where that election is up and down the ticket. And so this is a piece of federal legislation that will help states ensure the integrity and the sanctity of their elections, and that's what the president wants.
Isn't that crazy? We're in the United States of America, and we have to talk about letting foreign people vote in our elections. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Thanks, Caroline. President Trump posted about Nancy Guthrie that he is directing all federal law enforcement to be at the family's and local law enforcement's complete disposal immediately. What should we expect to see from the federal government in coming days in the search to find Nancy Guthrie?
It's a very good question, Peter, and it's why I was on the phone with the FBI earlier this morning to ask that. And what they told me is that the FBI, again, is at the disposal of the state and local government. Whatever personnel or assets or resources that the state and local authorities and police need will be granted to them at the direction of the president, the FBI director, and the attorney general.
A different law enforcement issue. The FBI just found 1,000 samples inside an illegal biolab in Las Vegas. It is linked to a different biolab that was previously raided. There are ties to China. What does the president think the CCP might be up to here?
I haven't spoken to him about this specific investigation from the FBI,
Stand
but
by.
I'm happy to, and I'm sure he's very glad that this is something the FBI discovered.
I'm sure they're cooking up something. Biolab.
And we'll make sure anyone who is involved in illegal activity will be held accountable.
And just one more about this weekend. At the Mar-a-Lago Super Bowl party, after the first two quarters, are the TVs going to be on the halftime show with Bad Bunny or the halftime show with Kid Rock?
I think the president would much prefer a Kid Rock performance over Bad Bunny. I must say that. Jennifer.
That's right. We have a satanic halftime show that the NFL's putting on, and we have a good side, not good side, what it should be, a halftime show by Kid Rock. I think everybody here that's listening should be watching the Good Side with Kid Rock. If you're gonna watch the NFL, I don't watch NFL, but some of you guys do. You guys love that stuff. I just don't.
Nuclear arms pact. We saw the president's post on that.
Yes.
But can you say, is there a temporary agreement with Russia to stand by the terms of the New START treaty while negotiations are happening?
Not to my knowledge. Again, to your point, Jennifer, I just do want to reiterate exactly what the president said. He wrote just moments ago, the United States is the most powerful country in the world. I completely rebuilt its military in my first term, including new and many refurbished nuclear weapons. I also added Space Force and now continue to rebuild our military at levels never seen before. We are even adding battleships, which are 100 times more powerful than the ones that roamed the seas during World War II. The Iowa, Missouri, Alabama, and others. I have stopped nuclear wars from breaking out across the world between Pakistan and India, Iran and Israel, and Russia and Ukraine, rather than extend New START, a badly negotiated deal by the United States, which I will add was renegotiated under former President Barack Obama, aside from everything else, is being grossly violated. The president wants to have our nuclear experts work on a new, improved, and modernized treaty that can last long into the future, and that's what the United States will continue to discuss with the Russians.
Yeah, that don't have a lot to do. That doesn't have nothing to do with the elections, and I apologize. I'm going to skip through a couple different things here.
Thank you, Caroline. Sure. Did President Trump himself ever ask DNI Gabbard to head down to Fulton County, Georgia?
The president was asked and answered that question just yesterday. I've seen a lot of the media in this room get very caught up with the semantics of why Tulsi Gabbard is there. I will tell you why, and the president agrees with this, because election security is essential to national security. And as the director of national intelligence, it is a part of Ms. Gabbard's role to make sure that American elections are free of foreign interference and that American elections are safe and secure. And so the ODNI director is working with the FBI on this effort, and the president wholeheartedly supports both Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard in ensuring that American elections are safe, are secure, and are free of foreign intervention.
Is there any indication that there's foreign influence?
Federal law enforcement's involvement in the search.
Excuse me one second.
Did you hear what she said? Watch.
Supports both Kash Patel
and
Tulsi Gabbard in
Listen
ensuring
closely.
that American elections are safe, are secure, and are free of foreign intervention.
Is there any indication that there's foreign influence?
Federal law enforcement's involvement in the search.
Any foreign influence, she said. Now listen what Caroline Levitt comes in, because she's like, oh, wait a minute.
Well, excuse me one second.
Right here.
It's the media who has said that
That's
there's
right.
Russian interference in American elections. You guys have been saying that for many, many years. So the people,
in Fulton County.
well, the people in this room, considering that you all said for many years that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help Donald Trump, you should all be very happy that we finally have an administration that is looking into that, and we'll be happy to keep you posted. Michael.
Now, isn't that funny? Like, it goes back with everything that's happening today is Donald Trump is using everything that they did to him. Now he's doing the same thing back to them, and they don't like it. Remember the Russia hoax? That's what she's bringing up right there. It's crazy.
Own a medical business? If so,
Democrats
we'll place this device into your
freaking
practice
out.
at
It's
no upfront cost.
unbelievable.
With the FBI's involvement in the search for Nancy Guthrie.
I'm going to fast forward a little bit.
The world, whether it's our allies or our adversaries, that's something that is taking place, in fact, with the Cuban government.
Yeah, thank you, Caroline. So the Office of Personnel Management released a final rule today that makes it easier to fire government employees who are not doing their job, basically. Does the president believe that there are people in his government still that are not following his agenda?
Yes.
That's a good question. I have not asked him about that. I mean, look, it's a very big government, right? There are thousands of people who work for the federal government here in Washington.
And why would you ask that question? Because they know there's people in there that they want to keep in there, that they're going to be so mad when Donald Trump says, see you later, goodbye. You don't support me, see ya.
in DC. This administration has been very much focused on ensuring that we have an efficient and productive workforce for the American taxpayer. There's not a day that goes by where we don't show up and realize we are public servants working on behalf of the American people.
Public servants.
And everybody in the federal government best have that mindset, or they won't be welcome to work for this administration.
See
So
ya.
I think it's a good thing that the Office of Personnel Management put this rule out. I think if people aren't doing their jobs, if they aren't showing up for work, if they're not working hard on behalf of this president, they're not welcome to work for him at all.
Ain't welcome.
The New York City mayor is dealing with a $12 billion.
Officials is what was seized by the FBI were ballots from 2020. You talked about
Hold on, I'm
2016.
gonna make sure I get it.
Election security is essential to now leave that answer to the president
Yeah,
himself,
right
Ed. Kristen, go ahead.
One more follow-up on DNI Gabbard. You said that the president supports the fact that she was there, but last night when he was asked about it, he said he didn't know why she was there. He didn't say that he directed her. Can you clarify on that? Did she go by herself and he learned later and supports it?
Well, did you look at the full entirety of his response? I was in the room for that NBC interview, Kristen, and he just said exactly what I told you, which is that election security is essential to national security. We need to ensure that our elections are free and are fair and are free of foreign interference. And he spoke about how Ms. Tulsi Gabbard is involved in that effort. So you're taking like the first 3 words that he said to one question and not looking at his entire response.
On what you said about foreign.
Isn't that crazy? That's what they do. That's Kristen from CNN, and that's what they do. Oh, he said this, he said that, like 3 words, and then that's all they use is those 3 words. I can't wait to the day that CNN just goes away.
Interference. You talked about 2016 and Russian interference, but what we've learned from these Georgia officials is what was seized by the FBI were ballots from 2020 in this Fulton County election center. Do you have any evidence that there was international interference in the 2020 election in this election center?
What I do have evidence of, and what the media seems to be undermining, is why Tulsi Gabbard is there in the first place. And I would point you again to federal law that clearly assigns the DNI and the office with the statutory responsibility to lead counter intel matters related to election security. This includes assessing risks to election voting systems, software, voter registration databases, and more, and analyzing foreign interference. And the ODNI is responsible for supporting the White House interagency action to secure our elections through intel analysis and vulnerability assessments. And they should be routinely collaborating with agencies like the DHS, the DOJ, and the FBI. So as for that question, it would be better suited to ask the Director of National Intelligence herself in her office. But what I'm telling you is that it is more than appropriate. In fact, it is Tulsi Gabbard's job to ensure that our elections are safe and secure. And that's exactly what she's been doing on the ground in Georgia. And I don't understand why anyone in this room, considering
exactly
you're
right.
all American citizens, I believe, and like to vote in
That
our
is-
nation's elections, should have any problem with that whatsoever.
Isn't that crazy? That's what I've been saying is why does anybody care if Tulsi Gabbard's down there? We want free and fair elections. If it was free and fair, then why do they even care? Let's investigate. I want to know if it was a rigged election. That's what I want to know. And especially here in Michigan with our governor, Whitmer. She is one of the corrupt piece of crap anyway. But anyway, here we go.
Now,
Thank you, Caroline. The president said that the administration should take a softer approach on immigration enforcement. He's also suggested for months that some
can take place in Minnesota, murderers, and when we have that level of country, quite carefully, I won't get ahead of him on any potential endorsements.
Fast forward. That has
John.
nothing to do with the
Thanks a lot,
elections.
Caroline. 2 questions for you about the continuing resolution that the president signed for the Department of Homeland Security. What would be the repercussions for all of the agencies under DHS?
House will be engaged in direct, serious talks with Democrats on this important matter. Natalie.
Imagine making
Yeah, if you want to watch the rest of that, Caroline Levitt.
$453,000 in a single month as an affiliate marketer without relying on Google.
It was on today, so you can sit there and watch that, the whole thing. I just picking and choosing which, all the election stuff, but there's actually a lot more to it. But The biggest thing is what I want you guys to take out of this is let's just call your governors, call your congressmen, call everybody, and we want to have voter ID, proof of citizenship, at least voter ID. I mean, you got to have voter ID for everything anyway. So let's just do that so we have free and fair elections. Let's just do that. What do you guys think? Comment down below if you guys don't think that we need that. I believe we do, but with that being said, guys, we've been about 30 minutes now, and I appreciate you guys coming back. I do appreciate that, and please like, share, and subscribe, and we will improve more and more, and we'll just get back into it. It's hard to sit on this chair for more than 30 minutes, but we'll get better. All right, guys, we'll see you soon.